the last part of the lecture today is focusing on the next step. So what are the next steps that you're going to take? And what can you do? What do you want to do? And what kind of society is it that you're going to be, that you already is a part of? And how will this shape you in different ways? So it's basically a personal speak to each of you individually. Also from me personally, having been thinking a great deal about what kind of societies that we live in and how does it actually shape our identity and the way we live. Before I do this, we want to start on the very short term. So what are the next steps? So one of the potentially next step that you might do is that you might take the certification test. I want to briefly mention something about it here. So the reason why we offer you this is because we have looked at this course and we know what's out there in the industry. In terms of other project management courses, and we know that what we teach here is just as good, or we actually think it is better than what is taught elsewhere, at least to some extent. And a lot of the issues, whenever you're working with different kind of project management, there's a lot of certification processes out there. There's a lot of certification organization and so forth, and we have been talking about some of these as we went through the curriculum, as the PMI, the Project Management Organization, the IPMA, and PRINCE2. So and it costs a hell of a lot of money to be certified, become certified within project management within each of these areas. And this is illustrated here in this table here. And when we look at, we know what is taught on these courses, and we look at what we teach, and then we say, well, why don't we just do our own certification? And then organize it in a way so it is, we know the quality is great, but it is for you to get an extra paper on your abilities, so to say. And of course, we cannot document that you are excellent project managers as they will be able to do in some of the other certification schemes. However, if you look at the entry level of what they provide, the other, it is comparable to what we do, and I think we perform even better. And so this is a comparison between the other certification schemes that is around. So basically what we did over a beer one day with one of my friends who was at that point a director at Dansk Standard on the certifications department, we said, why don't we just develop our own certifications system here? And at that point, we also have the ISO standard, which just came out, and basically the ISO standard represents the platform on which all the other standards are built. And then furthermore, it basically represents the universal language of projects. So it covers the whole area, and so the wordings, the language is basically the same from the PRINCE2, the PMI, and so forth, based on the ISO standard. And then, so if we wanted to develop a certification, why don't we just use the ISO standard as this platform? Because then you can document that you know the language of project management. So we did this, and basically we've designed it in a way to keep the cost as low as possible. Basically, the only thing it costs is basically whatever you need to pay in order to take this course, and then a registration. It is actually a correction fee for Dansk Standard, because they just need to have a fee for actually correcting it. They have a very rigid process where 3 people actually correct each of the tests, so to say, and then based on this, you will have the potential to become certified within project management. Up until now, there's actually more than 500 that has taken this certificate from DTU, but it's all actually starting to spread. So Maskinmesterskolen is also using this, and there's also some other universities who are thinking along the same lines of offering this. And basically, the certification process is actually something that we were part of developing it, but we actually left it to Dansk Standard to actually run it, because we would like to have a third party doing it. It's not basically it officially has nothing to do with DTU. We were just a part of it in the original days. So Dance Standard is running everything, and thus, whenever if you want to register, you just have to pay the registration fee to Dance Standard, and then show up on the certification day or the test day on Saturday. If you cannot do it this Saturday, you'll still have possibility to do it in August or another time when they're organizing the next certification test. We always organize these tests just after our courses. And of course, we encourage you, if you want to take the test, just do it after the course, because then that's where you have the language on top of your mind. Maybe I just want to say a few words about the test in itself. But if you're interested, just come on Friday, and I'll walk you through every detail of the background, the test in itself, how it's organized, the process, and then the standard. So the way that we organize this is it's a multiple choice test. It's advanced multiple choice where you have the different types of questions. So one is classical test questions that you also had this throughout the course here. So it's multiple choice. However, for each of the answers or questions, there are multiple answers, and some answers are more right than others, right? So there's a graduated score between the different answers that you have. And then there will be different types of questions. So one question, we also use figures where you actually have to fill in the blanks. So some of the central figures in the standard will be present, and then some of the concept will be removed and placed in the box next to the figure, and then basically you, along with some other concept, and then you have to fill in the missing the missing concepts in the figure. You have to do this without any aid. You're only allowed to bring a pen. That's it. Thus, if you basically you have to, you're not supposed to memorize it, but you have to understand the language, and you have to understand the logic which is in the standard. And there is a logic to it. So if you read the standard and you see how everything is connected, then it will be easy for you to pass. I want to say, but it's not that everyone passes. So you need to understand the standard, and if you cannot just go and then think that you know everything and you haven't read, you need to prepare. But I think at DTU, there's the average pass rate is so I think it's 82 or something. 82 of you will pass, based on the previous 82% of the ones that take the test passes. Okay. So so basically the test fails more than we fail on the course. so in that sense, the test is a little bit more difficult in that sense. Yeah.
What happens if you fail? You can retake the.
So you can take the test another time, but then you have to pay another 500 kroner, because the money is spent for Dance Standard each time they use this time for correcting. Yeah. So it's an attempt, and so if you fail, it's not something that is made public, right? So you won't be able to find that this person they failed this test, right? No. So if you pass, you will be documented. You will be placed on the list of, and you will have a number of on your certificate. Okay, this is just enough. If you're interested to know more, come Friday morning, and I will give a more elaborate lecture on this. There's also a lecture that will be uploaded. It's not uploaded yet, but will be uploaded just after this lecture, which is from August. So there's an online material for it as well. That is for the certification test. Actually, one thing that is important to mention: if you want to take the test, the requirements for actually having the certificate is that you pass this course, and then you have to pass the test. Okay. So but usually everyone passes this course. We maybe fail 1 or 2 a year. If you're out of 200, that's fairly limited. But that's just how it's organized. Okay. For those of you who might be interested in a little more project management, I just want to highlight I'll give you our overview of our project ecosystem, which is our way of perceiving project management education that we are involved in. So the course that you've been taking here is the middle part, which is actually about educating reflective project practitioner, as you mentioned, so enabling you to become more reflective in what you do and what others do in managing projects. If you're interested in more, we have the advanced course on project program and portfolio management, and here we actually train you to be consultant within the area. So you, similar to this course, you're working with a specific case, but you're working with a case that you're working with a challenge that you have to solve. And there we are providing you with some basic training on how you work as a consultant in terms of understanding what the problem is and map stakeholders and make situational analysis. And this is a very rigid, well-developed methodology that is probably even more robust than some of the models that is taught at McKinsey or Boston Consulting Group or the major players within consultancy. So we want you to train you to become a consultant and to actually tackle challenges of project program and portfolio management. And then at the same time, we teach you some of the more advanced topics within project program portfolio management. So we expect you to know the basic of project management, and then we add the with some extra dimensions to manage the other areas as well. And it actually runs this spring, if you're interested. And it's a 10-point master course. Okay, now I don't want to talk more about this.